Back by popular demand, another edition of Beyond the Stream. This is where we take an inside look at the people and personalities that make HTC what it is. The number one internet provider in the world, as far as I go. Largest co-op, I think, in the country.
In the nation, that's correct.
Wow. That's not small potatoes when you think about how big America is.
Right? And when I first started at HTC, I remember hearing we are the largest telecom in the nation. And you really take some pride in that.
You do.
Being able to work for a cooperative that is giving back and the largest telecommunications cooperative in the nation.
Hey,
so
it's bragging
cool.
rights. You drop that if you're out poolside in some resort somewhere, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is Brandye Clark. She's supervisor HR training at HTC. We're gonna find out what makes her tick because you didn't come into the HR game as HR. You were doing something else.
Yeah, so I have a familiar story at HTC. One of the things that we hear a lot is people start as interns. And so I had the opportunity to start as an intern in our business services group.
Okay.
So I was working on requests for proposals for large companies, Coastal Carolina University, different things like that. And I was just in college and didn't know what I wanted to do. And so about a year later, I got a call and they needed some help in HR screening applications and doing recruitment. And it was something that I could do from school. I was at the University of South Carolina, so it was a really great opportunity for me. So I got my feet wet in HR. And I stayed in HR for about 10 years, and then I have more recently transitioned to the safety and training team.
Okay. Safety and training team. You know I'm going to ask you what that's all about.
Right.
But business services, boy, that's not too shabby, dealing with the big clients and whatnot.
Yes, I mean, I say that, but I was just the person helping them deal with the big clients. So it was a really great opportunity to get my feet wet, see what it was like to work in a professional environment. I hadn't had a professional job before that. And so
What were some of your jobs?
I babysat for a while.
Oh, good Lord.
I loved that. I picked up a young girl.
That helps you think on your feet
It
because you don't know what's
does.
going to happen.
And it'll
Everything
get you.
could be fine, and then it's diaper time.
Oh, yeah.
I got you.
Well, she was at least in elementary school, so that was easier.
Okay, that's
but
good.
It did, it helps prepare you for how to think on your feet or how to get things done when someone doesn't really want to do it. But I had a babysitting job, and then I also worked in retail for a while.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then at USC, I tutored with the athletics department for a few years. So those were my experiences before HTC. And so HTC was a really great opportunity to kind of learn what it's like to be in a professional environment. So I thank business services all the time because they helped me get my foot in the door at HTC.
I mean, I don't want to diminish what HR does, but I would think that having dealt with children comes in handy with HR because you want to solve that problem right now. You got to nip it in the bud right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's funny you say that. My background in college, I went to school for psychology, and I joke all the time that I get to use it every day.
You do.
And so dealing with children and just learning how maybe not to negotiate, but to calm situations that you may have never expected were coming definitely have been helpful.
And that's magnified if you did retail.
Yes, absolutely.
Customer service at the retail level, my goodness gracious. Everybody should mandatorily have to deal with the public.
It definitely teaches you something, that's for sure. I think back to Black Fridays and Christmas, and those are the days that you really learn a lot.
You say that in there? Everybody's talking about, it's re-enrollment time. Let me tell you something, girlfriend. Black Friday in retail.
Yeah, it was something special, but luckily I worked for a great family-owned business, and they really were great to us. And it did give me some experience just working with people and dealing with different situations. Everybody is going through something different, and we don't know that when they're coming into the store, what they're buying for. It gave me perspective to learn that not everything is as it seems.
Sure. Well, on the tutoring side, that's someone who really, really needed you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so the attention level should have been a little bit different. I mean, somebody's there for tutoring. That's a different mindset.
Well, one of the things that I really loved about doing the tutoring was that I was able to help someone. And that's what I've really wanted to do my entire life, is be able to help. And people were able to be vulnerable with me and just say, you know, I need help. And I was able to fill that need for them. So it was definitely a very rewarding position. And, you know, when the good grades came in, or they brought back a test that they had done really well, and it makes you proud, and it makes me proud of them as well.
Yeah. I mean, so you probably dealt with some athletes, I think, at this time.
I did, yes.
Yeah. That had to be neat, going into a situation that they're saying, look, I got to get my grades up.
Right, there was some motivation there.
Yeah, definite motivation. And then if you're there rooting, I'm sure you went to some games or watched them.
For sure.
And you're like, you know, it's a different vibe.
It is.
The only reason he's playing today, Coach, is really because of the tutoring.
I wish I could take that much credit, but it definitely did give them motivation, and it gave me a sense of pride getting to see them do what they love to do, and I helped them be able to be out there on the field.
Wow.
So it was a very cool experience for me.
HTC intern. We get to see that a little bit on some of these interviews with Beyond the Stream. Of course, we've known that, having chatted with a lot of mostly marketing folks, but some HR on RiverTalk when we just had you guys in as like our regular guests. But being an intern, that's a whole different vibe, because having been in another department, that gives you an appreciation for what folks are going through sitting across the table from an HR meeting.
Absolutely. I still use my relationships that I built as an intern today, working with the directors and supervisors and even our frontline employees in different departments. And now, especially with training, we're looking how we can enhance all of our processes throughout the organization and how we can really develop others. So have an appreciation for what they're doing and knowing that it's tedious, and being able to just work with my team on how can we best support them. It has given me a lot of perspective on what others do, because we don't always get to see what somebody's going through or has to do just to make one sale happen, right?
Sure.
So there's a lot that goes into it. So it has really given me a lot of perspective. But the relationships, bar none, have been the best thing that came from my internship, because I was able to build those from the ground up. And now people that were helping me learn HTC are coming to me for advice and different things like that. So it's really come full circle.
That's neat. Let's talk about the training, because I think I heard the word security in there somewhere.
Yes, so our department is unique. We have training, safety, and security in our department.
Let's start with training. What is that all about? Training, safety, and security.
So we really have such a great team that supports the training, safety, and security at HTC. And the team's mission truly is to develop and grow and make sure that our members are getting the best member experience possible. So we're really dedicated to doing that, and we have a great team that have been in different departments, kind of like myself. They've come from member operations, or they've come from construction, in different areas of the organization, so we can best support and develop those situations now. So we really focus on how we can grow and enhance where we are today, but member experience is the most important aspect of what we do.
All right, I got to go into safety. I think I have an idea, but let's see if I'm right.
Well, you know, you see HTC out in the community. You see us on big machines, heavy equipment, driving very large trucks. So we have someone dedicated in our department that truly focuses on how to perform those jobs safely and make sure we're meeting all OSHA, DOT requirements. And we want our employees to go home better than they came. So we really focus on how do we perform these duties safely.
I figured that OSHA would be involved in there somewhere.
Absolutely.
Because those things, I mean, typically they don't change, but they have been known to change a certain regulation or based on some past experience with some other industry that a dictate comes down.
Something can happen elsewhere, and it definitely will change what we're doing. But we have a dedicated team member that really stays up to date on all OSHA regulations, and he supports our members that are just out in the community, whether it's on heavy equipment or maybe it's in an employee's house or a member's house. It just kind of depends, but he supports them through their whole career.
Yeah. I think of a lot of situations, and excuse me, you definitely have to have kind of uniform way to approach it.
It's kind of crazy some of the things you'll hear, just even something as simple as dogs. We have a way that we need to approach dogs and talk to our members about keeping their dogs put up, and that is a part of our safety protocol.
Yeah, I would definitely think so. Boy, there's some vicious dogs out there. And the smaller the dog, the more noises I've encountered. The big dogs just, okay, roof, roof, and then come on in. On the security side, though,
So when we talk about security in our department, we have a lot of facilities and locations with HTC. And being newer in the department, I really got to experience a lot of that because we recently did audits of all of our locations. So over 80 locations around the county, in Marion County and Georgetown County now.
Yeah.
So those aren't all branch offices, but we have a lot of locations throughout the counties. And so we are trying to make sure that those locations are secure, any HTC infrastructure is secure, as well as, any members that are walking through our parking lots, that there's no hazards there for them. So we're trying to reduce liability and risk.
Yeah, there's a whole protocol around just say, for instance, your cell towers and then some of the existing buildings and stuff. They got to have fence, proper height. You got to have the proper signage. You got to have all kinds of things based on the tower for whatever investigative organization. And then you've got the variable that comes in that there are other entities that will come into those spaces sometimes.
A lot of those are shared spaces.
Yeah.
And so we do the best we can. We're following all protocols, but even just the signage that you have on the gates, or, you don't want anybody to be able to, to be able to climb up a cell tower. So we have to make sure that all of our locations are secure.
Wow. A lot more to it than I thought about. I knew enough to get myself in trouble, but the security side, I mean, when you said 80, I was thinking, okay, this includes, and there are a lot of cell sites.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the little buildings that we see around.
Yes, so if you see a little building and you're like, that looks like an HTC building, it's part of our responsibility to make sure that that is secure. Because we also have a commitment to the community and the public that they can't get hurt or harmed.
Right, sure, yeah. And then there's the emergency preparedness. I mean, there's all kinds of variables and things that I don't even think about till I sit and think about it.
Right. With our most recent snowstorm, which was awesome. As a mom of a 2.5-year-old, we got to play in the snow.
Oh,
and it was really great. But at the same time, we had a lot of protocols going on to make sure we could get our workforce back safely and to make sure there were no liabilities or risks for anybody coming in our parking lots or to our buildings. So a lot goes on with the fun snow, but it was definitely a great experience, not only as a mom with my daughter, but getting to learn the safety and the security side of things through that emergency protocol.
I hear this theme with the moms there. I mean, obviously, you've got mom groups. You guys share a little information on babies teething and crying and diet and all of that sort of stuff. I'm sure you guys do, because, I mean, it is a family.
It for sure is. I'm very lucky to have friends that are working around me that I can just jump right in their office and say, this has happened, what would you do? And they'll come to me. So just even in our HR group, there's 3 of us that have children within 6 months of each other.
Wow.
So it's really nice to be able to have that support. And it truly is like a family. We love each other. We're getting Valentines for each other's kids. So it really is a family, and it's very nice to have people to lean on.
That's cool. Kind of makes work. I mean, look, even if you love your job, there are days where you just want to stay in bed, but makes it a little easier when you love what you do.
Absolutely, and especially when you love the people that you do it with.
All right. Brandye, thank you for coming to see us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see you at one of those locations, I'm sure, at some point.
I'll be there.
Yeah. I mean, it's the greatest thing in the world. You run into HTC folks when you're having lunch, breakfast, or even out for a church social. I mean, they're a big part of the community with over 600 employees. Why not? I think the goal is to actually interview each and every one of those HTC employees. That's called job security for me. We'll see how we do. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Beyond the Stream.